Personalization, I think all of us can relate to that. Whether we've been shopping in a store and people, when they approach, let's say a salesperson of the store approaches us, instead of just saying like a standard boilerplate thing, if they say, hey, you know what, based on the way you look, I think you'll really like these jeans, or you know what, your style seems to be maybe a little bit more formal. I've got this excellent blazer that'll go really well. So personalization definitely adds a magic touch, whether you're a consumer or even a business buyer. And I'll tell you, even to government agencies. So whoever you are, personalization is very important. How do we do that? One is we have to try and segment our audience into different categories. And that is really how we tailor. Now, the way we segment our customer base, it could be based on industry. Perhaps you have a solution set that can help, let's say, I mentioned my background, right? I've been in the automotive industry. So you have like, hey, how can product X for automotive, how does that work? I've been in e-commerce. You can say, hey, product X for e-commerce. I've been in public safety. You can say product X for public safety. So all your materials, you should have, for example, the graphics, the images that you have. If it's public safety, have police officers, those kinds of things. If it is automotive, you have like various cars and technology, trucks, things like that. So make sure that your materials are tailored by industry. That's a great way to do that segmentation. Another way you can do it is by company size, right? Maybe the way different industries use your product is not that different, but maybe it depends on company size. If it is, let's say, a 10,000 employee company versus a 100 company startup, right? Maybe they use your product very differently. And the things that appeal to a 10,000 employee company, it may be all infosec and security and all of that regulation. Do they comply with these standards? Maybe to a 100-person startup, maybe security isn't like totally top of mind, but what they care about is how quickly they can deploy it, because they don't have 6 months to get this thing to market. So in your case, you may find that segmentation by company size is also important. You may also find that within once you segment by the industry or the company size, you may even find that there are different job roles. And Justin actually alluded to this, right? The person who is buying, right? It first of all, the user may or may not be the economic buyer. Okay, so the person who's using it, they may care about a certain set of features within your product, maybe the user interface, maybe how much the learning curve, things like that. The economic buyer may be the purchasing department. They may have a total different calculus that goes into this, right? Maybe user interface, they don't care about that. They want to know, like, how much do they pay up front? Is this like a subscription that they pay annually? And are they going to get prepayment discounts if they pay up front? So they have different considerations. So segment, you can also do that based on the job role. You can also segment based on the pain points, right? So your product, it may solve, let's say, 4 or 5 different pain points. For people who are not able to invest in a full data center themselves, this thing is all in the cloud. Okay, so that's one way of solving the problem. For people who are trying to get a competitive edge, this is a solution that is always being updated. Every sprint, you got like new features coming in. Okay, now that's a different pain point that is solved. So you can segment based on the industry, you can segment based on company size, you can segment based on the job roles, you can segment based on the pain points. Make sure you segment it and you tailor your message for these right segments so that when they get the message, it's not like this person doesn't understand what I'm talking about. They're like, oh man, this person gets me. So that is segmentation. You also can tailor based on an account-based marketing approach. Nowadays, when we sell, we may be up against a very large enterprise. We're trying to really get this fish in. And when you use account-based marketing techniques, this is essentially putting them on a journey, right? So don't immediately, once, let's say they attend your webinar, boom, you jump in and say, hey, I want to give you a demo of my product, right? Take your time. And with account-based marketing, you essentially get them through the different stages of the buyer journey, right? Even if it is a big enterprise, just because they attended the webinar, they may still be in that awareness phase, right? So you maybe get their email and you add them to your newsletter. And you make sure that every time you inform them about, hey, here are some resources, we just wrote a blog article about this, you can download a white paper, things like that. Once you've had enough points of contact, Justin talked about touch points, right? Once you've had enough points of contact at the awareness stage, then you bring it into the more subsequent stages. And this is really a case of where slow is fast and fast is slow. Just because they, had one touch point with you, you quickly go into the sale, you may find that you fall flat on your face. And then you may not get a chance to engage with this customer for another, who knows, 6 months, 12 months, maybe even longer. So sometimes slow is fast and fast is slow. So to summarize, the way you personalize is you first do your segmentation right. And then for key accounts, you can use account based marketing. And that's what I found to be very effective.